Coming up in this video, I'm going to be talking about Sailor Jerry Spiced Rum. Hey rum fans, welcome back. I'm going to be talking about Sailor Jerry Spiced Rum in this video. This is part one of a two-parter. In part one, I'm going to deep dive into the history of Sailor Jerry, my story of how my take on what happened with Sailor Jerry, and in part two I'm going to do a little tasting with you. So that's going to get released in a couple of days time if you're watching this live. If not, you can watch this video straight away back to back. So Sailor Jerry, what happened to Sailor Jerry? Well, for the old school amongst us, I'm 40, I'm guessing anywhere between 30 years old and over in the UK, you're going to kind of remember the original Sailor Jerry. I don't know the official UK release time. I think it was around 2004, but I can't put a definitive date on that, and I can't see it because of what happened. Basically, Sailor Jerry back in those days, it was a huge, massive barcle. It was a great brand. It took the world, well, not the world, but it took the UK by storm, and it very quickly became a UK barcle. And what I mean by barcle, very few products had that. We had Jack Daniels. People would actually come up to the bar and say, "Can I have a Jack Daniels and Coke, please?" We had Bacardi. Can we have a Bacardi and Coke, please? But gin and vodka back in those days was, yeah, vodka and Coke, please. Gin and tonic, please. It wasn't a specific brand or barcle. Sailor Jerry kind of came in and took that by storm. It just went mental. It was such a great drink. It's essentially a vanilla and lime spiced rum. We were serving it with Coke and ginger beer and a couple of cocktails back in those days as well. But as I say, we were doing, and the bar I was running at the time, we were doing kind of around 2 cases a week, sort of about 12 bottles or so a week up in that point. And it was just flying out. And then something dramatically happened way back in 2010. I'll never forget the night. It was in the middle of a busy shift. It was about 9:30, 9:45 at night. And I didn't actually take the delivery in that week, but we ran out behind the bar. One of the guys had to go out the back into the cellar, get another case and bring it up. And what we noticed on the case, it was completely different box, completely different label. We took the bottles out. We didn't really think no more of it. We started banging out these Sailor Jerry Coke, Sailor Jerry and ginger beers, and then very slowly, one after the other, these drinks kept coming back up to the bar with the people ordering, basically saying, "This isn't what I ordered, what's happened? You know, I want a Sailor Jerry Coke, please." And we're like, "Of course it is." So we poured them another one, and they weren't happy with that. So us being us, we kind of thought, well, okay, if it's something wrong, it's got to be the Coke. So we went out, we changed the bag in the box of Coke, the post mix of Coke. It wasn't until a couple of minutes later that it dawned on us that Sailor Jerry back in 2010 had changed their recipe. That not only did they rebrand with a completely different label, but they changed their recipe as well. And that instantly killed sales for them, especially in our bar. But I pretty much guaranteed that it was commercial suicide for them. They're taking it, and what was being filtered through the reps and the wholesalers was they kind of wanted to change up the flavour appeal to more premium, higher end cocktail bars instead of the riff-raff bars like us that were doing a couple of cases. And I was a small unit, so God knows what the bigger units were doing. But you know, that was their philosophy. That's what they wanted. It literally, as I say, we were doing about 12 bottles a week. It literally went down to less than a bottle a week the following months after that. So that was way back in 2010. What they essentially did was they stripped away the sweetness. It is or used to be an overwhelming kind of vanilla, sweet lime kind of flavoured spiced rum. Lots of other spices in there as well, cloves and cinnamon and things like that. But it was kind of a sweet and just really worked well with Coke and the ginger beers that were around at the time. And as I say, stripping that away and turning it into a dry rum, that is not what the customers wanted at all, and they just stopped ordering it, stopped drinking it. It was kind of the night that it happened in the bar, people just didn't know what to do. They didn't know there wasn't another product as such like this that people could default to. This was the spiced rum category. Yes, I've said Morgan Spiced was around at the time, but this was essentially it. People, if you love this, you didn't really go for Morgan Spiced. There was no comparison. between them. And people were just going back to vodka, they were drinking beer, they genuinely didn't know what to do. So that is kind of what happened to Sailor Jerry back in 2010. Now, to loop this in with another rum brand that got launched in 2012, I have spoken about it, I have featured it in this channel. I haven't got a bottle to hold up to you at the moment, because I haven't used it for a while. But Old J was launched off the back of a huge sort of Facebook campaign, social media campaign. There was so many of us. I remember hundreds of thousands of people joined this page or group or whatever it was at the time on Facebook, asking for Sailor Jerry to bring back their original recipe. So off the back of this, there was a brand called Old J that got launched. I think that was around about 2012, and the clues in the title, Old J was Old Jerry. They claim to have recreated that sort of kind of traditional and well-loved recipe that everyone just wanted. It didn't really do too much though. The parent company, LWC, it was Signature Brands and LWC kind of parent company. Whether they just didn't have the marketing budget, whether they just didn't have the foresight to go loud and proud, or whether that commercial suicide by Sailor Jerry had killed the spiced rum trade, I cannot say for sure. But it never really took off as much as Sailor Jerry did. You know, it's a great, I think coming up by the time they kind of got it out there, you're sort of talking mid 2000 and I don't know, 13, 14, 15, by the time it sort of got out there in the general domain, you've got lots of other spiced rums on the market at that point as well. So Old J never really took off as a direct replacement for Sailor Jerry. But as I say, drinks trends, they come and go. Sailor Jerry had, in my opinion, sort of demolished the spiced rum trend back in then. And it's only now, sort of 2019, that the spiced rum is gradually picking up pace again. It certainly is for us in the trade, because we have got a load of spiced rums to choose from now. But because we're in the middle of a gin boom still, people, the general public, haven't really heard of a lot of these spiced rums. So that's what I'm doing with this channel. Hope you enjoyed that. That's the backstory of Sailor Jerry. In the next video, I'm going to be tasting it and tell you what I think of the new recipe.